What is good, YouTube? Quinn Wade basketball analysis coming to you with a quick video about the Miami Heat. This is a team that a lot of people said they had made a run last year, lost on the last game that they played, and that knocked them out of the playoff race. They had came together, they fought adversity, they played hard, they had injuries, they had chemistry problems, and they was able to get it right and almost get to the playoffs last year, riding off all that momentum. They got better chemistry, and on top of that, they had actually got a draft pick too. That's a solid player. All this went on after that season. Going into the season, we all thought, yeah, the Miami Heat, they're gonna make the playoffs. They know each other better. They don't have as many injuries. They have the same coach. They have the same schemes. They upgraded a little bit of their plays, and they're guaranteed to be a lock. But about a month ago or a couple weeks ago, they was at the 7th or 8th seed, but they obviously fell out of that because they haven't been able to consistently win. They've been hovering around close to 500, a little bit 2 to 3 games below 500 to 500 basketball. That should be good enough to get you into the playoffs. But the only problem that they have is they have other teams doing it too. And I'm going to talk about the teams first before I actually talk about the Miami Heat um, chances of making the playoffs. And honestly, these are the teams that they have to fight to get that spot or get in the playoffs. They have to beat the Pacers. The Pacers are a team that's basically riding high. They have a lot of energy. They fight. They have a lot of effort. And on top of that, they've been in and out of the playoffs. They went on a 4 game winning streak, giving them 16 and 11. They might make the playoffs. We didn't predict them to make the playoffs. We actually thought, everybody I know thought that the Pacers was gonna have a bad season, but we didn't know until they played on the court. And now they have showed that they can play above 500 basketball in the East, I should say. Obviously, the Washington Wizards is a team that's going to probably go up when John Wall comes back. The team almost won 50 games last year. They're a staple in the West as a playoff team. And they still playing above 500 record. I mean, above 500 with John Wall gone. Detroit is a team that made the playoffs 2 years ago, missed it last year, but was in the race for it. And they're above 500. They just been on a huge slump. Teams have made changes. Teams have made adjustments. And teams have played them tight and stayed close within the fourth quarter. They blew a lot of big leads. They didn't close out games, and they let certain teams hang around and make a run in the playoff. Make a run in the fourth quarter, and now they ride in a 6 game losing streak, but they're still 2 games above 500, and they can always get it back right. They lost a couple close games. They didn't come to play some games. They blew a lot of leads. The team that's arguable is the New York Knicks. They don't have enough talent to me to legitimately stay in the playoff race. But Kristaps is a player that if you have the game close, he can make big shots and carry the team in the fourth quarter, or he can make plays continuously that can change the tide of a game. Whether that's blocking a shot, getting a steal, shooting a three, knocking down some post-up jumpers, he can make a run to close out games. And last year with Carmelo and Derrick Rose, they had more weapons last year. They have less this year, but they just know their identity. The role players are playing their role. They're not trying to be bigger than what they are. They're allowing Kristaps to be the franchise guy and the go-to guy. And everybody know their roles. Everybody know what they're supposed to do. And that really has helped the Knicks with not that much talent compared to the Pistons, the Warriors, and the Pacers, and the Sixers. But they have been able to put it together, and I doubt that they make the playoffs, but they're going to be in the running all season as long as they continue to play like they've been playing. The Sixers are a team that have been in the playoffs for about a month. They dropped out because obviously they went on a losing streak, and it hurts that Joel Embiid cannot play back-to-backs, and that hurts them because every time they go on a run, they can lose games because of his nagging injuries or the doctor stopping him from playing. Obviously, we don't know how good this team will be until Joel is fully off his restriction. As long as he's restricted, they continue to lose without him, and they struggle against the championship caliber teams in general. So if they can't beat the great teams and Joel can't play back to backs and they continue to lose those games, they're going to be hovering around a mediocre, you know, 500, 3 to 4 games above 500 or a little under 500 basketball where the Heat is at. Now that we're done talking about the team they're competing against, let's talk about the Miami Heat. This is a team that won their last game. They're 12-13. They're in the playoff race. If they win today, they'll be 500, which can put them in the playoffs. Or, they might not move depending on if the other teams win and they keep the advantage over the Heat. But the Heat has been a disappointment. We felt that they will be a lock for the playoffs, and we thought that their offense would be significantly better. We obviously thought that they have the chemistry to play against anybody. They have the big man that can grab a lot of boards and protect the paint in Hassan Whiteside. They have an all-star caliber point guard in Goran Dragic, who's having a solid season to me. But he still has played his game. He's shooting 45% and 39 from three, and he's taking 4 threes a game, and he's knocking them down at a high percentage. And he's not getting as many assists, but that's the way they play. He's never been a huge playmaking point guard, besides when his first year in Phoenix. But, he's doing his job, and Hassan Whiteside is doing their job. They have a roster of people that can play. Dion Waiters, Josh Richardson, Kelly Olynyk. Obviously, you still have Wayne Ellington. You have Gordon. You have Bam. You have Justice Winslow, who has been a disappointing player also. People are going as far as saying that Justin Winslow is a bust. We went from saying that he's the steal of the draft to now he particularly might be a bust. But his numbers have went down, but his efficiency has went up. But he's not even getting on the court enough. He was only playing 22 minutes. So honestly, I was a person that was saying at the end of the day, I think the Heat, with the circumstances they in, they will make the playoffs. And now it looks like they have a chance of missing it. And if they do have a chance of making it, they can be just like last year, fighting every game of the last month to make a run, to get on a small winning streak, to take over the 6th, 7th, or 8th seed. But we don't know how good these teams will become. Philly can easily become back a playoff team. Detroit can go back on a small winning streak and hover around 5 to 6 game over 500. You still have a team like the Washington Wizards that can make a run. The Knicks are the only team, but like I said, Philly is out the playoffs, and they got that same record as the Knicks. So it looks like the Heat might actually be in the same position they was last year. The only difference is they got off to a better start. And what I'm saying is they might be hovering around that 9, 8, 7 position. And that doesn't guarantee that they'll be in the playoffs. They can't have any major injuries. They can't have any major trades happen to the teams that they're going against. And if they do, they can ride that momentum, and they'll be a team that's barely barely 500 or less, missing the playoffs, which means they're not going to get a high draft pick, and they're not going to make the playoffs, which is a bad place to be in, because if you're bad, you want to be bad enough to get a top 10 pick, and if you're good, you want to be in the playoffs trying to make a run or having a chance to win a championship. They're not a championship level team, and they're not a terrible team, so they caught in a medium from damn near contender in the East to now a team that might not be good enough to make the playoffs, or even terrible enough not to get a top 10 pick. So that's a scary position to be in. That's a position Memphis was in. They haven't been able to get people to come to Memphis until this year. They haven't been able to pull off any big trades that made them into a contender. They always been a team that hovered as a playoff team that had a chance to win the championship. Obviously, they got swept by the Spurs, and that stopped that run, and they have the last 3 years been out in the first round every single year for the last 3 years. And now they might not even make the playoffs because Mike Conley is injured. And if he comes back, he hasn't really been playing well in general this year. And they still have a shot to make the playoffs. But if they do, they might be the 7th or 8th seed, which means they're not going to get a top pick and they're not going to win a championship. And they're not going to be able to make a blockbuster trade because they don't have the talent. This year, they're more talented, but Mike Conley just haven't been the same and he's been injured. And now David Fizdale is gone. So that's the problem I want to tell you, Heat fans. Can the Heat make the playoffs? Obviously, it's going to be tough with Philly having a chance to increase their record in the future. Obviously, I think Miami just as talented as the Sixers. I will go to the Sixers a little bit more because Ben Simmons and Embiid, and then they have Redick and have Covington. They have more weapons. They play better together, and they just make tough matchups. Um, Obviously, Miami is in that race, but right now, I don't know if they good enough to guarantee a playoff spot like I thought going into the season. But I still think they're going to have a chance. I still think that they have to go get it now so that way they don't be in that situation where they hovering around the spot hoping that teams lose and they have to win. That's a situation you don't want to be in. And obviously, you want to get out of that situation as quick as possible. And the only way of doing that is winning basketball games. So let me know what you guys think. Do you think the Miami Heat is still going to make the playoffs? Do you think that they was a little overrated last year? Do you think that they barely get in? They might miss it, which means they're not going to get a top 10 pick and they won't make the playoffs, which is a terrible position to be when you're trying to become a championship contender, especially in your conference. And they not that right now either. So they're in a mysterious, weird way where they're good but not great and not bad. So check out my Facebook page, AnalysisPlayground.com if you're on YouTube, and check out my website, AnalysisPlayground.com. Link will be in the description in the comment section below. Click the link, it's into my Facebook page, and click the link, it's into my YouTube. If you're watching on Facebook, check out my website, AnalysisPlayground.com, and check out my basketball analysis YouTube channel. That will be pinned on my Facebook page, so you can click and get to the YouTube channel, click and get to the website. And if you're on Twitter, check out my Facebook page, AnalysisPlayground.com, my website, AnalysisPlayground.com, and obviously my YouTube channel, Basketball Analysis, Quinn Way, Basketball Analysis. I'm gone. And let me know what you guys think about the Miami Heat, and can they make the playoffs, or are they just a mediocre team that's in the hunt but not good enough to make it?